So Andrew Tate has now been officially charged. Andrew, I give 25 million a year to charity Tate, and his brother have been charged with rape, human trafficking, and forming a criminal gang to sexually exploit women in Romania. Influencer claims trial was all about stealing my wealth, is what he's saying. And listen, to be honest, no doubt there is an agenda there against Andrew Tate, and would be a lot of that would be wanting to take his money. Yeah, that would. I mean, I would say that's part of it. But yeah, no doubt there's an agenda against him with certain people, but that doesn't mean that Andrew Tate is an innocent man in this, though. But yes, yeah, so Andrew and his brother Tristan, they're currently under house arrest in Romania. The brothers, along with two women, were being investigated for suspected human trafficking, rape, and forming a criminal gang to sexually exploit women. And this is the thing. This is it's in a place of Romania where Andrew Tate went, and Andrew Tate has bragged about how he likes it so much in Romania, more or less saying how it's like a really for the most part kind of like a lawless country. And when he was over in Romania, there's the two Romanian women, and then there's Lulana Radu and a Georgina Naghil. And I believe it's the Georgina woman is supposed to be Tate's girlfriend. The other woman, she's all right looking. Georgina is kind of okayish. Looks like she had a lot of work done. But yeah, they're currently under house arrest. So they ordered the indictment. It was setting up an organized criminal group, but they had set up an organized criminal group. It was trafficking in persons, rape, they said. And the prosecutors, they've ordered the confiscation of assets from the Tate brothers, including 15 luxury cars, luxury watches, and about 3 million they held in cryptocurrency. Some people are trying to say that cryptocurrency amounts even more. But I do remember there was a YouTuber from a few months back I watched, and they had said that they were aware of the scam that Andrew Tate and his brother Tristan were doing, though, like a crypto scam back in maybe 2020. But the four, they were held in police custody from 29th December to the 31st of March. And I believe it was around that time, wasn't it? It was like a day before when Andrew Tate did that dumb thing of bragging about all the cars that he had. That tweet to Greta Thunberg. She came back at him with saying, "Oh, get a life, small dick energy or whatever." And not that I'm no Greta Thunberg fan at all, but she definitely bloody owned him with that. But I'll get back to Greta Thunberg in just a minute or two. But yeah, you have Andrew. There's a photo of him and his brother Tristan. So Andrew Tate, though, he has been charged with raping one of the victims. The brothers and the female associates, they have denied all of the allegations of abuse and trafficking. Trial will not start immediately. Yeah, that's the thing. These things can take some time. It can go on and on before it gets to trial. But he could be found guilty. He could be in jail in Romania for up to 20 years. And prosecutors were saying about how the Tate boys had recruited their victims, seducing them, and falsely claiming to want a relationship or marriage. And I think that's what's known as like the lover boy method. And this is the thing that's on that the old Hustlers University website where Tate talking about it was my job to go on a date with a couple of dates with a girl, get her to fall in love with me. Eventually, I guess they'd have sexual intercourse. She'd end up moving in with him, and then at that point, that's when it becomes all the the control, and at that point, I'm sure he would make it very difficult for them to leave. I mean, I don't know. I was almost going to say that it's maybe similar to how what R. Kelly did with forcing having all those women locked in his house and not being able to get out. But then, with these allegations with Tate, it's not about underage women, though. That's one thing with the Tate stuff. It isn't underage like it was with R. Kelly with underage women. But there's with the women, though, that there was a woman who told Usenet that what happened is she had a second encounter with Tate. Her first encounter was it was consensual sex. She had said, though, that when it came to their second encounter, though, this was back, I think, when it was 2014, and it was Tate's hometown, Luton. He'd put her hand on her throat, strangled the woman until she passed out. And when she came around, it was a bit confusing at first, but then she said he was still having sex with me. And some of the Tate, violent threats were he was threatening to kill her, saying, "Oh, I own you, you belong to me." And that does sound like Andrew Tate talk right there, because we've heard before Andrew Tate saying that, when a woman is with a man at that point, she is his property. So that does sound like a thing that Tate would say. But what was a little bit odd, though, and I want to be objective about this, is, the woman saying that she didn't report the incident to police at the time, saying she only realised she'd been sexually assaulted about 6 years later when she had described what happened to her friends. But I mean, this is I mean, obviously, I'm not saying that, oh, she's making this up all of a sudden, because years later she's reported about this. But what's a little bit odd, though, is that she didn't realize, though, that this was sexual assault. I mean, obviously, you shouldn't really. It's pretty common sense to know that it isn't consensual sex when you're passed out and a guy's having sex with you. That should be well known. But then I don't know if Andrew Tate would get off on this. What's his out going to be, that it was bad sexual etiquette on his part? The whole George Galloway defense on behalf of Julian Assange. I don't know, but that was something that was a little bit odd there that I thought when I read that. But I mean, when it comes to the whole stuff with Andrew Tate, I think for me it comes back to that old saying, that looks like a duck, walks like a duck, and quacks, and all that stuff with Andrew Tate when he talks about. I mean, it's very misogynistic, very. I mean, the stuff, really disrespectful to women. He might say he's changed his ways now, but all that clips that were stuff going back from anything ranging from, I don't know, maybe 2018 to 2022, it was some pretty bad shit. And just stuff about him, how he's been dismissive of rape allegations, saying about, oh, all of a sudden 20 years later, a woman will come out and say that a guy raped her. But then, but then in that case, Andrew, you saying that all these women are bullshitting when they said that, Harvey Weinstein raped them, with the whole, Me Too movement. And Weinstein was all about power and control, and I'm sure maybe it wasn't just a case of him being a bully, but he had friends in high places. So there was definitely probably cases of women that did want to try and report it, but but yeah, I mean, people will say the stuff about Andrew Tate about, like, oh, he speaks out against the Matrix, this, that. He says some things that are, like, certain points that people, I guess, that are the conservative type people, that people on the right will make. But I would say I'm quite conservative and right wing, like centre right. But that doesn't mean I'm just gonna all of a sudden just jump on the let's pray, pro Andrew Tate bandwagon, though. I think he's always just been a guy that's been putting on a big front, and it's kind of about insecurity. It's just kind of having a real unhealthy ego, and maybe that's. I'd like to think, hopefully, that's just the worst parts of Andrew Tate. But it looks pretty bad, though, with all these allegations when it comes to human trafficking and rape, though. I mean, it looks pretty bad. But again, everybody, it's when it comes to human rights, you deserve a trial. You deserve a fair trial, and so he'll definitely, he no doubt deserves a trial. Everybody does. But I mean, to me, it just doesn't look good overall. But yeah, I mean, you just hear with the women all the time. When it comes to what women have said about him, saying how aggressive he is and horrible things he says. And there was a guy on had a Twitter account. I think it got taken down, but he had done a lot of good work exposing all this stuff with Andrew Tate and all other allegations that maybe still haven't been ones that have been brought to light, by the the mainstream media. But there's a lot of stuff there with how a lot of these women that were in his, I guess, the place that him and his brother live in Romania, that apartment place, but a lot of them had tattooed on them, property of Tate, and what they might have. I'm pretty confident that was probably something he forced them to do. He might turn around and say that was their choice, rah rah rah, but to me overall, it doesn't look good overall, because when you see the stuff about Tate talking about property, when a woman's with a guy, that all of a sudden now that means that she's his property, and then you're seeing the stuff with tattoos women have property Tate. Just do the math. I mean, and and Tate now he's now trying to do the whole thing about now he's a Muslim, and I think he converted to Islam in October time. He was arrested in December, and this photo right here when he was arrested, that was the money shot right there, right? They had to have Andrew Tate coming out first, right, before his brother Tristan, obviously the lesser known brother, right? But the stuff about being a Muslim, I don't buy it. I think, because Tate was just doing that to try and rehabilitate his image. He could see that the stuff was coming. I'm sure he realized the walls were closing in on him, and there was stuff there. There was allegations out there, but nothing where he had been, criminal had been arrested yet. But I think he's just using this to rehabilitate his image, and people in the Muslim community, personally, I wouldn't, sorry about it, I wouldn't fall for it with him. This is someone saying now that he now quotes Nelson Mandela in the Quran, like, gee. But then before he declared himself an atheist, but now in October he converted to Islam. But I think he was actually said he was a Christian before that and went to church like once or twice a week. So I don't know, maybe they've got that wrong. This is Daily Mail, but I think the Islam stuff, it's just him trying to rehabilitate his image. I don't really buy he's a Muslim. And I think overall with Tate, I mean, let's say, okay, he became a Muslim, but he didn't get arrested. It would be pretty hard for Tate, knowing what his big ego is like, it would be pretty hard for Tate to, stop talking about all the stuff that's when it comes about, the flashy life about bottles and getting with women and, all that stuff that he was known for talking about, and all the grandiose stuff. That would have been tough for him to put that away to then make out like, I'm a changed man, I've seen the light now, being a Muslim. Just knowing what his big ego is like, and he needs these things because I don't know, it's just a real probably insecure guy there. Maybe still just an insecure boy, and he needs these things to like the big flashy cars and the money and like the women. He's very much similar to like Dan Bilzerian, right? And I think Dan Bilzerian is just the same, just a lost little boy. But Dan Bilzerian, hasn't been accused of rape or human trafficking. There was something where I think he kicked a girl in the face at a club or something, but nothing like he hasn't had allegations that Andrew Tate's had though. In short, I don't buy him now converting to Islam. But I had predicted that he was going to get exposed. I had said that people on the right were going to end up with egg on their face, but there's still so many people though on the right that are very relentless when it comes to defending Tate, and they don't want to believe it. That's one thing I've noticed as well. A lot of people who have these podcasts will have him on and praise him. I think obviously that valuetainment guy, Patrick Bet-David, he doesn't want to believe it. He's making out like Andrew Tate is an innocent guy, even though deep down he probably knows that some of that stuff, if not all, is true. But so many people now that are trying to defend on the right, trying to defend Andrew Tate, and it is, I don't know what's up with some of these fanboys on the right, and then you get all the people that will say, oh, all these people putting all this energy into Andrew Tate. Where was the energy with the Epstein stuff? And it's like, no, I think Epstein was a total scumbag and a piece of shit as well, and he'd abused what was it, like 13-year-old girls. So I would like to see what the bloody Epstein client list released, but I'd also like this guy, if it's true, with the allegations, to be exposed also. Andrew, Tate. But Tate is just so, when he's always going on about the Matrix this, Matrix that. It's kind of like intellectually like a real easy thing for Tate to ramble on about. And like, yes, okay, Matrix was a good movie, but it's like, it's just so simple for people to go on about, oh, Matrix this, Matrix that, as opposed to being accountable for their actions, And yeah, so this will be what Tate will do now. It'll be the blame game. There'll be some tweets soon about him. Oh, the Matrix is trying to attack me, bro. They're trying to attack me, bro. yeah, that's the blame game. Andrew Tate will play though with the Matrix on this. And but yeah, I guess we'll have to wait and see with the stuff though when it comes to Tate, the brothers, the two women. Could be still could be some time though until this goes to trial. Um, but I mean, Tate fucked up though with the whole thing. With I think it was the real it was the Greta Thunberg tweet, which was unnecessary, right? And then what, a day later, he gets arrested, and then there was that video he did talking about it, and it was like, because I think they'd been trying to find him for a while, right? And then there was the whole thing with the pizza box, Jerry's Pizza. He's bragging, smoking a cigar, and he's got the pizza box there. So he'd fucked up, and he had fucked up. He snitched on himself, Buddy Tate snitched on himself. But then you get somebody on the right, like this woman here, Julia Hartley Brewer, who I can't bloody stand. I just think she's a stuck-up, condescending cow. And she said here, I'd choose Andrew Tate's life every single time over the life of a half-educated, autistic, doom-mongering eco-cultist, and the only car I own is a diesel Tiguan. And this was a bit of a dumb tweet. I don't know if she deleted this one or not, but she's kind of a representation of people. I don't even know if she's so much on the right. I think she's just a bit of a hack, really. But like I said, don't get me wrong. I don't like Greta Thunberg. I don't like what she represents. But at the same time, I kind of feel bad for her because I think she's a young teen who doesn't she doesn't know any better, but it's possible that she just doesn't know any better, but she generally believes what she's saying and she means well, or she knows it's all shit deep down, and and she's just been a useful tool for the elite. But my whole thing is, I wasn't, just because I don't like Greta Thunberg, all of a sudden was going to start attacking her and then praising Tate, because I guess he's supposed to be on the left, and he's been all buddy and photographed with people like, Paul Joseph Watson, Candace Owens, Tommy Robinson. He spoke to Trump's son, Trump Jr. I'm not all of a sudden just going to jump on that bandwagon, because I would class myself as a conservative, though. But so many other people do that, though. But yeah, those are my overall thoughts on all this, guys. So I guess, we'll have to wait and see, though, with Tate and the brother of two women, what will happen. I mean, really, the focus is mostly on Tate, and then, a little bit with his brother also. But just have to wait and see. It could drag on for quite some time, but I don't know. I mean, in the end, maybe some of the charges, maybe he'll be not guilty, but then maybe, let's say, maybe most of the charges possibly that he will be declared guilty on. But so, yeah, I personally don't feel it's looking good for Mr. Andrew Tate, though. But those are my overall thoughts on all that, guys. Thanks. See ya.